it speaks to the reason as to why there's so much goddamn opportunity in the rich art ecosystem, because there's a fundamentally a massive difference between real risk and perceived risk. Man, before I really went into HEX, me and Messin, who was my business partner, my friend Adam and the Moon, we debated HEX for a solid 6 months. He's sick of it. Yeah, every time oh my god, the conversation we had behind the scenes, dude. We were looking at. We went so far as to like creating spreadsheets on Excel, tracking different addresses, trying to find where the ETH went, and like we debated it so heavily, and we reached out to like all the influencers, and we were trying to understand, is this really a scam? Because there was the perception of a high degree of risk. There was the perception of this being a scam, but was it really? And we never looked at anything as intensely as we did with HEX. But after 6 months of intensive scrutinization with HEX, what I walked away with personally was that, yes, there are risk factors. There are 100% risk factors with HEX. There are some people who don't like relatively illiquid markets compared to other markets. There are people who don't like massive whales in an ecosystem that are disproportionately massive compared to whales in other ecosystems. But if you started to look at all the risk factors and all the things that people criticize HEX for, what started to become abundantly, the realization that became abundantly clear was that all these risk factors that people criticize Richard Hart and RH for, none of them crossed a threshold of making this investment product illegitimate. They may be outside of your risk tolerance, but nothing. I kept looking for the smoking gun. What is the thing that makes this thing illegitimate and long-term not viable? I kept trying to find the thing. I kept trying to look for, okay, all these critiques, sure, these are valid critiques, these are risk factors, but goddamn, I never found the smoking gun that crossed a threshold, making this like illegitimate or a scam or crossing a line where the risk is too high. And that's what all these novice retail investors that only have a surface level understanding all have in common, which is essentially just a surface level understanding. Once you look into it and realize that, hey, yeah, there are some risk factors, but there's nothing here that makes this investment product illegitimate. And in fact, the pros that this product comes with it, in fact, in my opinion, far outweigh the cons, so much so that there is a very strong case for this thing having not just longevity, but being able to outperform the rest of the market. And once I had that realization, once I applied an above average level of insight and found out that there was a massive perception problem, there was a dichotomy between the actual risk and the perception of the risk. When you find that, you find what's called alpha. You find a truth before everyone else understands it.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button and subscribe. For weekly meetings, courses, and to access my Discord, consider becoming a Patreon. If you're looking for a more personal experience, consider booking a one-on-one. All links are in the description.